Let's talk about nature laws that work. My name is Chris McGrath and I'm a barrister. So in September 2018, the Wilderness Society and a number of other conservation groups released an important report, Fast Tracking Extinction, Australia's National Environmental Law, which highlighted that our National Environmental Law has clearly failed to protect habitats for threatened species over the time of its operation. So if we're talking about national environmental laws, let's place that in context. So you know that in Australia's federal system of government there are three main layers. We've got our national government, which we call the Australian, the national, the federal, the Commonwealth government. All of those terms are used interchangeably for the national government. We've also got 6 state and 2 mainland territory governments, and we've got hundreds of local governments, about 540 at the moment. So each level of government has different areas that it's primarily responsible for. But for environmental issues, their responsibilities are intertwined. So the Commonwealth has important responsibilities for fulfilling Australia's international legal obligations to protect the environment. So Australia's got a whole range of international obligations under things like the World Heritage Convention, the Biodiversity Convention and the like. State and territory governments also have a whole range of powers to protect the environment. And they've got a whole range of laws to deal with mining and planning for other forms of development. And local governments are often a crucial decision maker, particularly in relation to planning decisions. And that can have big impacts on biodiversity and other environmental impacts. So all levels of government have important powers in relation to protecting the environment. So you can think of environmental protection in Australia not as a neatly layered cake, but more like a scrambled egg. All the levels of government are intermingled. So every level of government has powers for environmental protection, but the bottom line, and an important bottom line, is that the Commonwealth is ultimately in control where and when it chooses to be. So you can think of our national environmental laws in the context of state and local government laws. You can think of our national environmental laws as a vital safety net to protect us, the places we love and our prosperity. So the current national environmental laws are called the Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act. It was enacted in 1999 by the Howard government. Its main provisions protect 9 matters of national environmental significance, including things like World Heritage properties and listed threatened species. Now, it reflects a political compromise under the Howard government. It's not the limit, it doesn't represent the limits of Commonwealth environmental powers by any means. It's an important act, but it's dated. And the data is clear, the evidence is clear, that the current laws and current regulators are failing badly. What we need to do is reboot our national laws. So things like dangerous climate change, which is happening now, and loss of threatened species reflect systemic failures for which the Commonwealth is ultimately responsible. And in that context, the report by the Wilderness Society and other conservation groups, released in September, is an important contribution. It recommends that we need national leadership. Absolutely, we need that. It also recommends that we need new national environmental laws and a new independent environmental regulator called the National Environmental Protection Agency. The name of it isn't as important as the fact that it will be independent from the political process and the minister of the day, a politician, and exercise its powers in a way that is actually there to protect the environment and not to appease powerful interest groups. So there's no quick fix, and there will be a need for ongoing work even if new national laws and an independent regulator are created. But the new laws and a new regulator are a critical step. So the new national leadership and new laws ultimately depend upon the political will. And that's where you kick in. Because, as Al Gore said, political will is a renewable resource. Your job is to work with the Wilderness Society and other con groups to build the political will for these new laws and new regulator.